When the Soul Returns from Where It Came, by David Russo. Introduction. The journey beyond, before the soul enters form, before it experiences time, before life as we know it begins, it exists in a space beyond thought, beyond story, beyond separation. In this place, there is no past or future, no striving, no need. There is only presence pure, radiant, and whole. This is the home of the soul, the origin from which all journeys begin, and to which all journeys ultimately return. The soul does not forget this place lightly, but it must. To enter life fully, to feel, to grow, to experience, the soul accepts a veil of forgetfulness. It steps into human form and begins a journey of contrast, joy and sorrow, love and loss, certainty and doubt. This forgetting is not loss, it is necessary. It allows the soul to explore, to expand, and to carry the wisdom of experience back to its source. This book is an invitation to consider the soul not only as something you inhabit, but as something that has a home. It asks you to look beyond daily life, beyond identity, beyond what can be seen or measured, to the timeless origin from which your being arose. Here, in these pages, we will explore the soul's journey, its leaving, its remembering, its learning, and its return. The path is not linear. It is not about mastering steps or reaching a final destination. It is about recognition, about listening, about witnessing the soul's eternal rhythm as it moves between form and source, between forgetting and remembering, between departure and return. If you are ready to travel beyond what you know, to touch the place your soul has always called home, let us begin. This is the journey beyond, the journey back to the quiet, infinite presence that waits for you, always. Chapter 1. The place before form. Before you were born, before breath or thought or story, the soul existed in a place beyond time. There was no beginning and no end, no shape or boundary, no separation between self and all that is. It was a place of pure presence, limitless, luminous, and whole. Here, the soul knew itself as eternal, untouched by fear, untouched by longing. In this space, there was nothing to prove, nothing to seek, nothing to carry. The soul was free, complete, and aware of the infinite web of life it was a part of. Every vibration, every possibility, existed simultaneously. There was no hurry, no effort, no expectation. This was the home from which every journey would one day depart, and to which every journey would ultimately return. Yet even in this perfection, the soul held a quiet curiosity, a desire to know itself in ways it could not in stillness alone. It sensed the beauty of contrast, the richness of experience, the depth of living through form. And in that subtle longing, the first stirrings of the journey began. The soul does not leave lightly. It moves from this place not because it is incomplete, but because it is drawn toward experience, toward growth, toward the joy and depth that comes from dancing with life in all its complexity. And in stepping into form, the soul begins its great adventure, a journey of remembering, forgetting, learning, and ultimately returning to the home it has never truly left. To remember this origin is to remember the essence of yourself, the quiet, infinite presence that is beyond thought, beyond fear, beyond separation. The soul's home is not lost. It waits patiently, silently, eternally, for the moment you are ready to recognize it again. Chapter 2. The call to experience. From the quiet perfection of its origin, the soul hears a subtle call, a gentle urging toward experience. This call is not born of lack or need, but of curiosity and love. The soul senses that there is something to be known, something to feel, something to carry that cannot be discovered while remaining in stillness. Life, in all its vast complexity, waits as the canvas for this exploration. The decision to leave home is not sudden. It is deliberate and tender. The soul moves toward the unknown with both courage and trust, knowing that separation from the infinite is temporary and purposeful. It steps into the realm of form, into time, into a body, and into the delicate web of cause and effect. Each choice, each encounter, each moment of living becomes a brushstroke in the unfolding of awareness. The call to experience brings contrast. Light and shadow, joy and sorrow, creation and loss, all are essential teachers. The soul embraces these opposites, not as punishment, but as the language through which growth and wisdom are spoken. Every sensation, every connection, every challenge becomes a doorway to remembering who it truly is. Even in entering the world, the soul carries a whisper of its origin, a faint resonance that guides, comforts, and reminds. This inner knowing is subtle, often hidden beneath the nose of life, but it persists. It is the thread that will eventually lead the soul home again, enriched and transformed by the journey. The call to experience is not a burden, it is an invitation. It is the first step in the eternal rhythm of leaving, learning, remembering, and returning, a sacred journey that moves the soul ever closer to the full embrace of its infinite source. Chapter 3, Veil of Forgetting. To enter life fully, the soul must wear a veil, a gentle forgetting of its origin. Without this veil, the intensity of memory would overwhelm a human form. The soul accepts this forgetting not as loss, but as a necessary part of the journey. In the human experience, it learns, it feels, it grows, and it discovers the depth of living through contrast. The veil creates a sacred tension. Life becomes a dance of remembering and forgetting, of glimpses of home amid the distractions of the world. This is why longing exists, a subtle ache, a quiet pull toward something familiar that cannot be fully named. The soul whispers through intuition, through fleeting moments of awe, through the sense that life has more meaning than what appears on the surface. Forgetting is not abandonment. It is permission to fully inhabit the human experience, to explore the beauty and the challenge of form, and to grow wisdom that the soul cannot gather while remaining in stillness. Each joy, each sorrow, each fleeting connection is a thread in the tapestry of understanding, woven carefully while the veil does its work. Even in forgetting, the soul's presence is never gone. Its memory survives in resonance, the feeling of love, the pull toward compassion, the yearning for something greater. These are the signs that the soul remembers, even when the mind does not. The veil does not hide the soul from life, it allows the soul to experience life as it was meant to be felt. The veil of forgetting is a sacred gift. It allows the soul to be immersed in the world while carrying the quiet promise of return. Through forgetting, the soul learns the depth of experience, the weight of form, and the longing that will one day guide it back home. Chapter 4, Dwelling in the World. Once the soul has stepped through the veil, it begins its life in form, a body, a mind, a place and time. Dwelling in the world is both a gift and a challenge. Every sensation, every encounter, every choice becomes a lesson, a reflection, a mirror of the soul's inner truth. The world is a vast classroom, rich with opportunity to feel deeply, to love fully, and to learn the subtle art of being. In this dwelling, the soul experiences contrast, pleasure and pain, connection and separation, certainty and doubt. Each moment carries its own wisdom, and even the smallest events can reveal profound truths if the soul pays attention. Life is not a series of random occurrences, but a carefully woven journey, designed to help the soul remember, grow, and deepen its understanding of existence. Though the veil of forgetting softens the memory of home, glimpses of it occasionally appear. A quiet sunset, a moment of deep compassion, the laughter of a child, these are reminders that the soul is never truly lost. The world is alive with signals, nudges, and whispers that guide the soul toward awareness, toward alignment, and ultimately, toward return. Dwelling in the world requires presence. The soul must navigate challenges without losing sight of its inner compass. It must honor the lessons of the body and mind, while keeping the subtle thread of remembering intact. Through this balance, life becomes not just an experience, but a sacred dance, a rhythm between forgetting and remembering, between action and reflection, between form and the infinite source from which the soul came. To dwell fully in the world is to embrace life as it is, while never losing sight of what is eternal. It is the soul's invitation to engage deeply, feel authentically, and carry the quiet knowledge that every step, every breath, every encounter is part of a greater journey home. Chapter 5, Glimpses of Source. Even while dwelling fully in the world, the soul occasionally remembers its origin. These moments are fleeting yet profound glimpses of the infinite that shimmer through the veil of form. They may appear as intuition, a sudden sense of peace, a feeling of connection to something far greater than oneself, or the quiet recognition that life is more than it seems. These glimpses are the soul whispering to the self, reminding you of what you have never truly lost. They are not always accompanied by clarity or understanding, yet they carry a deep resonance, a subtle vibration that awakens the memory of home. In these instances, time seems to slow, the mind softens, and the heart feels expansively aware, as if touching the source from which you came. Glimpses of source can arrive in the ordinary, the smile of a stranger, the sound of wind in the trees, the stillness of early morning. They are reminders that the sacred is woven into the fabric of everyday life. The soul does not always demand recognition, it offers presence, nudging gently, waiting patiently for your attention. These moments teach the delicate art of noticing. They invite you to pause, to breathe, to align with what is eternal. Each glimpse is a thread connecting the human experience with the infinite, a gentle reminder that every choice, every emotion, and every encounter carries the potential for remembrance. By honoring these glimpses, the soul strengthens its connection to home. They are signposts along the journey, guiding you not toward escape from the world, but toward deeper engagement with life, infused with the quiet, luminous presence of your origin. Through these fleeting awakenings, the soul remembers, and in remembering, it draws you ever closer to the eternal source from which it came. Chapter 6. The Wisdom of Return. As the soul moves through life, it gathers the quiet wisdom of experience. Every joy, every sorrow, every encounter leaves a mark, a subtle imprint of understanding that will guide the journey back to source. This wisdom is not found in textbooks or teachings, but in living fully, in feeling deeply, in loving honestly, in observing the patterns of the heart and mind. The wisdom of return is gentle. It does not demand mastery or control, it only asks for awareness. The soul begins to recognize what is essential and what is illusion, what nurtures growth and what drains energy. It learns the rhythm of its own being, the cycles of giving and receiving, the balance between surrender and action. Return is not a distant goal, it is a living presence that unfolds gradually. The soul senses it in moments of quiet reflection, in a feeling of ease, in the deep knowing that certain choices resonate while others do not. These subtle signals are reminders that the journey is circular, not linear, and that every experience has a purpose in guiding the soul home. The wisdom of return teaches patience. It is not hurried by the mind or shaped by fear. It allows life to unfold naturally, honoring each lesson and each moment of remembering. Through this patient awareness, the soul begins to release attachments and illusions, recognizing that true freedom comes not from clinging, but from flowing with the eternal rhythm. In cultivating this wisdom, the soul aligns more fully with its origin. Each day, each breath, each step becomes a gentle act of remembrance. Life is no longer just lived, it is understood, appreciated, and integrated. The soul learns that returning is not only a destination, but a way of being, conscious, awake, and connected to the infinite home from which it has always come. Chapter 7. Signs along the way. The journey of the soul is guided by subtle signs, whispers of recognition that point toward home. These signs are rarely dramatic, they appear quietly, like gentle nudges, moments of synchronicity, or a sudden sense of clarity, and life seems ordinary. They are the soul's way of saying, remember who you are, remember where you came from. Some signs come through intuition, the deep knowing that a choice is aligned, or a pause in thought that reveals truth beyond reasoning. Others appear in the world around you, a repeated symbol, a conversation that resonates, or the feeling of interconnectedness in a fleeting moment of beauty. Even challenges, discomfort, or loss can serve as signposts, guiding the soul to discern what is essential and what is transient. Paying attention to these signs requires stillness. The mind must soften, the heart must open, and the body must slow enough to notice what is present. Signs are rarely shouted, they are whispered. Yet, in their subtlety lies their power. Each recognition strengthens the connection between the human self and the eternal origin of the soul. The soul does not force these moments, nor does it rush them. It allows you to encounter them in your own time, trusting that when you are ready, you will notice, understand, and follow. Awareness of these signs fosters a sense of guidance that is gentle, patient, and deeply intimate, a companion to the journey rather than a command. Through attention and receptivity, these signs illuminate the path, offering reassurance that the soul is never truly lost. They remind you that life is a living dialogue between form and source, between forgetting and remembering, and that the journey home unfolds in its own perfect rhythm. Chapter 8. Letting go of form. As the soul draws nearer to its origin, it begins the delicate work of releasing form. Letting go does not mean ending life with fear or regret, it is a gentle surrender, a trust in the rhythm of existence, and a recognition that identity, attachment, and limitation are temporary. The soul, which has experienced fully through human form, now loosens the grip on what once seemed essential. Letting go is not loss, it is liberation. The mind may resist, clinging to familiar patterns and roles, yet the soul knows that true freedom lies in releasing what is no longer necessary. Every attachment, every expectation, every fear softens as the inner awareness shifts from striving to simply being. The weight of form, once vital for learning and growth, is no longer required for the soul's journey home. This surrender is accompanied by clarity. The soul begins to perceive life not as a series of demands or distractions, but as a continuum of experience, each moment a reflection of the infinite. There is no need to hold on to outcomes, possessions, or identities. These were tools for the journey, not the destination. Letting go also deepens compassion for oneself and for others. It reveals the transience of all things and the eternal presence beneath them. In this awareness, the soul moves with gentleness and grace, no longer clinging to the world, yet fully embracing its beauty and lessons. The act of release is quiet, patient, and inevitable. Through letting go of form, the soul opens fully to its return, flowing effortlessly toward the source it has always known. In this surrender, there is peace, there is clarity, and there is the luminous recognition that the journey has been both complete and sacred. Chapter 9. Reunion with Source. At last, the soul reaches its destination. The passage through physical existence, through amnesia and awakening, contrast and insight, culminates in a gentle, radiant homecoming to its origin. This return is neither loud nor theatrical, it is intimate, serene, and unmistakably familiar. The soul recognizes its true nature completely, as it has always existed beyond time, beyond division, beyond constraint. Reunion gathers every experience into wholeness, the happiness and the grief, the growth and the mistakes, the affection and the farewells interlaced into the boundless essence of the soul. Nothing is discarded. In hindsight, each instant becomes holy, every breath revealed as a step along the path home. The soul realizes that what it searched for externally had always lived within, quietly awaiting recognition. In this state, fear dissolves. Striving falls away. Longing fades into stillness. What remains is pure presence and illuminated awareness of unity and completeness. The distinction between self and source melts away. The soul abides in its timeless being, unburdened and whole. Time no longer confines, form no longer defines, and the infinite welcomes what has never truly been separate. Even the memory of earthly life is cherished, honored as both guide and reflection of the soul's own folding. Reunion is not a conclusion, but an eternal harmony, a silent rejoicing in what has been, what is, and what forever will be. Within this union comes the profound remembrance: the soul was never missing. It was simply exploring. Now it rests, endlessly, in the radiant and infinite source that has always been its home. Chapter 10. Living with the knowledge of return. Even before full reunion, the soul holds a subtle knowing that it belongs to something vast and sacred. Carrying the awareness of eventual return reshapes the experience of living. Existence becomes more than a chain of events, it transforms into a meaningful pilgrimage, illuminated by the understanding that every moment leads back to origin. This insight does not erase hardship, sorrow, or doubt, but it shifts perspective. Fear loosens its grip, attachments grow lighter, and the heart expands in compassion and presence. Choices begin to reflect the quiet memory of Source, guiding the soul toward actions and relationships aligned with its timeless essence. Embracing this awareness fosters patience, sincerity, and faith. The soul learns to move with life instead of resisting it, to release the need for control, and to perceive the sacred within both the mundane and the miraculous. Life itself becomes a mentor, each meeting a reflection, each circumstance an invitation to grow. With the certainty of return, the soul walks through the world with grace, fully participating yet inwardly free. It carries the richness of human experience alongside the wisdom of its eternal beginnings. Living becomes a fluid interplay between remembrance and presence, between embodiment and infinity, between the visible and the unseen. To live in this way is to move gently and consciously. The soul understands it is never truly isolated or abandoned. Every breath, every step, every heartbeat becomes an act of reverence and honoring of the path and a steady movement toward the luminous origin from which it arose. Conclusion: the eternal circle. The soul's journey forms an endless circle. It emerges from boundless source, travels through the landscapes of life, and returns again to the infinite. This rhythm is sacred and unceasing. Departure is not abandonment. Living is not true separation. Return is not an ending. Each stage emergence, experience, forgetting, awakening, and reunion belongs to a seamless continuum that refines and enlightens the soul. Recognizing this circle brings tranquility. It assures us that every delight, every grief, every decision, and every connection carries meaning. Nothing is accidental, nothing is lost. Even confusion and suffering are strands woven into the greater design, guiding the soul toward deeper wisdom, empathy, and harmony with its origin. Return is not confined to some distant horizon, it lives within each conscious moment. It murmurs through intuition, through love, through connection, through the quiet sense that life transcends individuality. By becoming aware, by surrendering, by embracing both physical form and infinite essence, we participate in this unending cycle fully alive while remembering we are never truly separate. The circle continues ever turning, ever flowing, ever coming home. And within this knowing, the soul discovers its dwelling place not solely at journey's end, but within every breath, every movement, every present moment. To live attuned to this eternal circle is to live in alignment with existence itself, complete, luminous, and boundlessly free.